Hello everyone, this is Red Robot, and I am very excited to bring you this first episode of TF2 Challenge Mode. And you see I'm enabling Remember Previous Weapon Between Lives, and I'm binding mouse wheel up, which is the bind for my primary slot, and I am playing the anti-fire Pyro. Pyro has taken a vow to never pick up his flamethrower again, and so I've disabled all ways of equipping it, and thrown on my shotgun and my fire axe, because the fire axe is the most anti-fire weapon I could think of, and the shotgun, besides the reserve shooter, is Pyro's only secondary that does not involve fire in some way. And I was expecting this challenge to be just kind of a tedious, making the game more difficult for yourself, kind of a version of playing Pyro. But what I actually discovered was kind of like this weird transformative experience where I really understood kind of a lot about the current state of the game and understood a lot of the changes to Pyro over the years a little bit better. And I really wasn't expecting that. So let's start things off with just the loadout. I'm equipping the shotgun and the fire axe as I explained earlier, and I'm also equipping the degreaser to decrease switch speed between my two weapons. I figured it is only fair because the switch speed is really slow for Pyro, and it probably wouldn't be too OP to be able to pull out your fire axe any faster than you could before. It's really interesting. This is probably one of the only situations ever in which the fire axe is a better option than the extinguisher, which I thought was really funny. So what was it like playing with this loadout? From what you're seeing, it might seem like it's just kind of like a slower, more tanky version of Scout. And I can understand why you'd think that, but it doesn't really feel like that at all. Playing Pyro without your flamethrower leads to some really wonky situations like this one. Like, a stream damage weapon like the flamethrower would have been really nice for taking out those 3 spies, but instead I'm forced to awkwardly aim and shoot at each one of them. And you kind of forget just how important that wide stream damage of the flamethrower is, and just how unique it is to the class. Like, no other class except for Heavy can kind of provide such a large cone of damage and such a continuous cone of damage, and the fact that Pyro can do it with decent speed is what makes his class so unique. But at the same time, Pyro's flamethrower, when using it just for fire, is really, really crap. There's so many situations in this game where Pyros are running at me with their flamethrower, their primary weapon, and I take them out with my shotgun, my secondary weapon. And it's just so ridiculous how underpowered the Pyro's flamethrower is at being a flamethrower. And one of the reasons I think the Pyro's flamethrower is so weak compared to other primary weapons is because of Air Blast. Now, what do I mean by that? Basically, let's get things straight. Pyro needs Air Blast. Now, playing Pyro without Air Blast, I was getting completely wrecked by projectiles this whole game. I was trying my best to dodge, but I was getting double donked, blown up by rockets, blown up by grenades, you name it. I really needed that Air Blast to protect myself from projectiles, because when Pyro was first released, Soldier was his best counter, because all Soldier had to do was shoot the ground, and Pyro had no Air Blast back then. What I don't like about Pyro is the kind of stun lock effect that he has on his Air Blast, how players can't really strafe or move after they've been Air Blast. I don't mind Pyro being able to knock people away, I don't mind Pyro being able to deny Ubers, but what I don't like is how, like, it's not just knockback. If the Air Blast was knockback, like being hit by a rocket or a sticky, you could kind of strafe, you kind of move, you'd have more control over your life, whereas the Air Blast feels like you're just being trapped in one place, and the Pyro doesn't really have to aim to hit you. They can pretty much just Air Blast, switch, and then fire their flare gun or the reserve shooter to grab really easy kills, and I really don't enjoy playing with that or playing against that. It's probably just the butthurt scout main inside me talking. But because Valve gave Pyro this really, really powerful secondary effect on the flamethrower, it means that they could never buff the flamethrower to be a properly powerful weapon on its own. You see that with the Flog, it has a ridiculously powerful primary mode, and no Air Blast. Like, that's how powerful Valve sees Air Blast as being. It's just strong enough to let Pyro gain like full crits that he can recharge while using the weapon. That's just how OP Air Blast is in Valve's eyes. And it's kind of a shame because, I mean, yeah, people make jokes, W plus M1, Pyro no skill, but I would really love it if there was some way to play Pyro in which you could use your primary, that stream damage, that continuous damage, and use it in a way that was more skillful. And I was thinking of a few ways to do that, something like a reduced cone on your flamethrower, perhaps a longer range, maybe even have like a really weird kind of hit scan flamethrower that works like a lightning gun, just something that Pyro can use to really show off his close range superiority he was always meant to have. And it's such a shame that Pyro is supposed to be such a deadly close range ambush class, but his flamethrower does such pathetic damage per second and is only really good if you're like ubercharged and running at a sentry or something like that. or using the Flog. It's just really such a shame that it seems like Air Blast has kind of prevented Pyro from ever being buffed properly by being kind of too overpowered in its kind of knockback and stunlock aspects. Playing Pyro restricted to shotgun and fire axe only has just kind of shown me how dependent Pyro is on that Air Blast and how he's just a complete sitting duck without it. And it would just be interesting if there was some other mechanic Pyro could have other than the Flog's just insane damage to make the class a little bit more interesting to play and play against. What I'm kind of getting at is sort of similar to what the Backburner was trying to be. I feel like the Backburner was supposed to be that, well, the ambush Pyro weapon, the ultimate kind of run at them and do your job, clear the control point, clear the payload cart, get everyone scrambling away for health or dead in a second if you're right behind them. But when the Backburner was first released, it was really weird. Because it didn't have Air Blast at all, they granted Pyro an extra 50 health, which made Pyro have more health than Soldier, and he really needed that, because his DPS when he wasn't directly behind someone, because that cone from behind you have to hit someone with the Backburner is so narrow, was so much lower compared to the Soldier's just shoot feet rockets damage, and I really wish they would kind of, I don't know if we'd like buff the Backburner, but just adjust the Backburner, give it some other negative, but make the backburn radius a little bit larger so people can play that flank Pyro, that kind of backstab Pyro loadout that I would really love to play, and make it a little bit worse at the whole just running at people's faces. I don't think giving Pyro an extra 50 health is the solution. I reckon you've got to make the Backburner a little bit easier to use, a little bit more forgiving for the user, in order to make the kind of ambush Pyro I've always wanted to play a little bit more effective. You see me just freaking out as the Flog Pyro running at me. I could have killed him easily, but I just missed every shot. Oh my god. One other nail in the Pyro's kind of flamethrower coffin is all of the nerfs to Afterburn over the years, and I really don't understand it. Like, for example, let's say you're on Gravel Pit B, right? And you see everyone on the control point on fire, and there's no medics. There's only one health pack, and there's no way they can get back to spawn or to another health pack in time. So let's say everyone's on the point, they're all taking Afterburn damage. That's amazing, right? Nowadays, there's so many ways for them to put out their fire or heal on their own. You've got the Conqueror's constant healing, the Black Box's heal, the Girardi, the Mad Milk. Afterburn's been nerfed in so many ways, and it's such a shame because Afterburn, that damage over time, was such a unique thing to Pyro, and Valve seems really happy to just let every class have a way to deal with that. Well, that's all I've got for you right now. This challenge was super fun. I think it went alright, and I'll catch you guys next time.